welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Zee, but you can call me Z, alternatively call me Sunshine. Now, to those who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I know some of you have subscribed. I truly appreciate it, and you are valued. For those who are joining me for the first time, you are welcome. And those who are returning but have not yet subscribed, what's the matter? Subscribe and let us engage. Today's video is what I'll title Life Lessons. So I'll be sharing some of my own life experiences and how things worked out in the end. In fact, the subtitle of this video is Things I Was Told Never to Do, I Did Them, and what were the outcomes. Before we get into the video, please feel free to introduce yourself, engage with me, tell me about your own life lessons. What have you learned? What advices would you say were useful? What advices did you not use and perhaps you regret? Sometimes you don't even regret not using them. So let's get right into it. So I will be going through 5 things that I was advised not to do, and I did them. Well, most of them. And at number 5, we are going to be talking about buying white. What I mean by that is I was told never to buy white things. There was a point in my life that I actually wanted a white couch, and I think it would have been gorgeous. But I don't regret not buying a white couch. However, I was still advised to buy like a leather couch. And to be honest, sometimes I do regret not having followed that advice, because the couch that I have now, as you can see, it's like a material and it's quite a bit light in color. So if you spill anything on this, it will be nightmarish. Fortunately, most times I just drink water, so I have spilled water on this couch a couple of times, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And next, it's white bedding. Oh my goodness, who doesn't love white bedding? So I have plenty of white bedding. I have white sheets, white everything, white pillowcases, and I think if you want to, go for it. I think white is aesthetically pleasing, and I think it just makes things look so much nicer and cleaner. However, when you do have things such as white bedding and white sheets, you don't get to live your life as normal. Sometimes you have to be extra careful with the bedding. And one of the things that I think about most, especially when I'm outside hanging my white sheets, I think about the fact that people with white sheets, white bedding, will end up having spent so much of their time washing those. So my tip to you is that if you are going to buy something white, something such as a sheet or pillowcases that are white, because you're going to have to wash them so frequently, how about you buy 2 pairs of that, like 2-3 sheets, 2 pairs of the pillowcases or the duvet covers and things like that. That way you don't have to wash it as many times. As for white furniture, I do have a beautiful white chest of drawer, and I don't think I would have it any other way. So I clearly just love white, and I feel like white furniture is the way to go, whether it's a bookshelf, a table like a desk, or a coffee table. I think that's definitely the way to go. But if you are cautious, and some people don't like white, I guess maybe not. Lastly, white carpet. White carpet are a no-no. And I say this with a carpet that's mainly white, And the problem with that is, once again, keeping it clean. It's very difficult to keep white carpets clean. The only white carpet that I love is a small carpet. I'll try and insert a picture in my bedroom, and of course it's for aesthetics. However, even trying to keep that carpet is a bit of a nightmare and has become sort of like a part-time job. So when it comes to buying anything white, think it through. It will be a bit of work. You might spend a little extra time washing and keeping it clean. But if you really want to, I say go for it. Number 4 on the list is to do with cars. I was advised to not buy a low cost, very small car. Now this was good advice, you could say, because the people who were advising me reasoned that sometimes low cost cars can be small, they could perhaps break easily and things like that. However, I looked at it from a different point of view, which was that I wasn't driving long distance. I was driving per day less than 20 kilometers. Even on weekends, it was still less than 100 kilometers that I would be driving if I'm going somewhere on the weekend. I was looking at fuel efficiency. I was looking at the fact that I'd be the only one driving the car most of the time, which is what has happened. Nobody's ever even in my car. I remember I used to actually think that I wanted a 2-door car, and my parents said, but that's so rude. Where would people sit if they want to be in the car? But to be honest, in the 5 years that I've had my car, I hardly even have passengers. So, and I do not regret doing that. And I think part of that is because I was comfortable. I did my research about the car. I trusted the brand. So I drive an Hyundai i10. I did my research about it and I absolutely fell in love with it. Now, please, this is not to say that you shouldn't buy, the big brand cars, even for your first car. I mean, if you can afford it, why not? And by afford it, I mean having enough money left to do other things. So we are all different. We all have different priorities. And for somebody else, they might want to buy a big fancy car. That's fantastic, as long as you are comfortable with that decision. I was just talking about the fact that sometimes people can be advising you about something, but you feel that you want to go a different route. Always trust that gut, do your research, and go for it. Number 3, and this one is a little controversial: getting a credit card. I was told to never, ever get a credit card. And to be honest with you, I wasn't even planning on getting a credit card. What had happened was the bank offered it to me and I said, well, why not? And I absolutely understand the reasons behind the advice that says you should never get a credit card. How I think of it though is that sometimes you don't know how something feels and you don't know the dangers of that thing until you actually do it yourself. And that's why I would advise that if you want to test it out, I mean, obviously if you have a stable income, go for it. Try it out. See how it works. Sometimes it's only by learning, by maxing it out, and learning how not so nice it is to have to pay it back with ridiculous amounts of interest. That way, it might be one of those life lessons that will help you to better manage your money in the future. Personally, I feel that getting that credit card and maxing it out was the one thing that helped me to get my finances in even better order than before I had the credit card. Please do be careful about any kind of credit. Once again, do your research, make sure you can afford it, and if all of that is done and you still want to do it, go ahead, but be careful. Number 2, and we are getting even more controversial with this one. Oh my goodness, this one is something that I would say you should not do depending on your circumstances. So the number 2 thing I was taught to never do, and I've done it a few times, is leaving your job without another job. Now this one, as I said, depends on your circumstances. The reason they say you should never leave your job without another job is because that is a huge risk. And financially, it's not the most sensible thing to do. However, if your mental state is at risk and you are no longer feeling comfortable in that place, you can no longer do it, it's causing you depression, it's causing you headaches, you are unhappy and miserable, then maybe, just maybe, you could do it. Firstly though, I think you should inquire with your financial advisors, people you trust in your circle. Talk to them about your decision before you actually do it. Never quit a job while your emotions are high. Wait until your emotions calm down and make an informed decision. On the bright side though is that sometimes you'll never know what leaving a toxic environment can do for you. Sometimes it's freeing, and sometimes it can help you better understand what it is that you want out of life. I feel that sometimes we are told that we should get the job. So what success looks like, especially here in South Africa, and I'm sure it happens in the other countries as well, what success looks like is you getting a job. And once you've gotten that job, you need to then climb up the ranks. And that's great, that's fantastic. However, what if you haven't truly discovered what it is that you want to do with your life? I feel like a lot of us have a lot of potential that we do not even get into simply because we are stuck trying to climb up a corporate ladder, whereas we haven't explored maybe our creative sides and other things that we can potentially do. One of the things that excites me about the times that we live in is that the possibilities are endless. You could do any kind of job from literally anywhere in the world. So don't box yourself in. Don't feel like this is where I am, this is where I'm stuck. I'll sit here until I'm 55, 65 and I retire and I go and die. I feel like that's not a life worth living. There's so much to explore, and Google is there for you. There's so many websites that talk about finding jobs in other countries. There's just so many possibilities. So don't just be stuck in that thought. Start thinking about, how can I get out of this situation? Especially when that situation is no longer serving you. I would say, leave. The number one thing that I was told to never do, and I did it, and I regretted it, and I continue to regret it, is settling. Never, ever settle. It's unfortunate that most of us will end up in one way or another settling. And I think that settling is a sign that we lack faith. We do not believe that something better is in store for us. So we end up saying, oh wow, let me just settle. Let me settle in this job. Let me settle in this relationship. Let me settle in this friendship. Let me settle for what I'm given, because at least I have something. And I think that's a very limiting belief, to say, well, at least I have this. At least I have a job. At least they are paying me. I don't think that that's what God intended for us to do with our lives. He intended for us to have life and have it in abundance. So therefore, let us never settle. When I look back at my own experiences and situations where I settled, I'm so grateful that those situations didn't work out, because I would probably still be there. And when I think about it, it's something that I can't even imagine what quality of life I'd be living, because at the back of my mind, I would know that I'm settling. At the back of your mind, you know where you are settling, and I need you to stop settling. This is very good advice. In life, you should never ever settle. That's all from me today, and as always, please feel free to engage, share this video, like it, and please don't forget to subscribe. Now for my random question of the week, and this question goes out to you guys. We know how frequently we are supposed to wash our bedding and pillows and things like that. However, I hardly ever hear anybody speak about how frequently we need to wash our throw pillows, the pillows that we use to decorate. How frequently are you washing yours? Have you ever even washed yours? Let me know in the comments below how frequently you are washing them. How frequently do you recommend that we wash them? I would genuinely like to know, because sometimes I forget about washing them, and if you think about them, we should actually wash them as regularly as possible, because we are constantly using them. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I truly appreciate you watching until the end. As mentioned earlier, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining me for this video today. I hope to see you again next time. Until then, love and light to you all.